the digital transformation of governance spaces have not left even diplomacy away. There is a new age diplomacy called as digital diplomacy. In session 7 of Policy and Regulatory Framework for GovTech, we would talk about digital diplomacy as the new age diplomacy. We would delve into the various aspects of digital diplomacy and e-diplomacy. We would talk about how e-diplomacy is little lesser than cyber diplomacy, and then we'll talk about role of diplomats and way forward for digital diplomacy in India and elsewhere. Digital diplomacy is an umbrella term. For conducting diplomacy in digital age, it talks about all the objects and instruments related for establishing diplomatic relationship between two countries. However, digital diplomacy has two components, e-diplomacy and cyber diplomacy. E-diplomacy is more about use of new technologies including social media such as Twitter handles for broader diplomatic purposes. Cyber diplomacy, as the name indicates, is use of the same traditional diplomatic instruments but for combating cybercrime, cyber security and internet governance. E-diplomacy has been in vogue ever since SMAC happened. Social media, mobile, analytics and cloud computing has promoted e-diplomacy. Twitter diplomacy, that's another word I give to e-diplomacy. Twitter diplomacy does not promote international relationships but increases domestic support. Not all national leaders would have access to social media, defining the limitation of e-diplomacy. In the hands of impulsive and uninformed, smartphone can also become a dangerous weapon. We all know how US President might have tweeted US into war. Therefore, platforms which promote openness and goodwill have become forums to settle grievances, scores, but also stoke nationalistic impulses. Yes, I am talking about how Donald Trump tweet shamed South Korea, Germany, Canada, Australia, which could have actually led to trade war just because he did not use his smartphone more prudently. Similarly, his foreign policy tweets threatened to pull out NAFTA, cheating China on trade. There have been risks of diplomats that could actually be noted down, where instances of Foreign Minister Julie Bishop and her trademark emoji actually brought down her credibility in global standing. Cyber diplomacy, on the other hand, is, as I said, use of diplomatic resources and functions to secure national interest with respect to cyberspace, and it also talks and includes other aspects such as cyber security, cybercrime, confidence building, internet freedom, and you guessed it right, internet governance. In this domain of cyber diplomacy, UN group of governmental experts were constituted in the year 2010, which was actually to establish voluntary norms for responsible behavior in cyberspace. In 2011, US International Strategy for Cyberspace was established, which is first ever government agency on international issues related to cybersecurity. I am sure you would also recall US and China cybersecurity deal way back in 2015, where they had committed mutual assistance in cybercrime investigations. Close by, in the year 2017, Global Conference on Cyberspace had said very clearly, India is keen to promote cyber diplomacy, and this was quoted by none other than Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, the Union Minister of Electronics and IT in our country. What is important for diplomats on these cyber issues? A, they must define clear rules and principles for peaceful coexistence. They must create efficient national cyber coordination forums at global level. They must ensure adherence to international laws and norms of responsible behavior. They must enable consistent voice of states in all international fora. It is equally important that cyber diplomacy should have multi-stakeholder model for governing internet. It must ensure adherence to international laws and norms. It should look forward to regulating cyberspace at not just national or organizational level, but at the global level. Only then cyber diplomacy would be a healthy instrument in the hand of diplomats to establish global peace. Thank you. Jai Hind.